Today, WGC Explorers continues to give you a glimpse into the people behind the papers that are being submitted to the 2022 World Gas Conference under its call for papers. The call for papers is an exciting process where the industry experts have the opportunity to submit a project brief and to have the chance to present their work at the World Gas Conference in 2022. For the authors, the call for papers is a wonderful way to be engaged in the international sustainable energy conversation, to showcase your expertise, and to reach a global audience with your work. Today, I would like to welcome Dr. Ebrahim Mohseni of the Isfahan Province Gas Company. He has submitted an abstract under the call for papers for the 2022 World Gas Conference titled Gas Leak Detection and Control In-Service Polyethylene Pipelines Using a Step-by-Step Pressure Changes Method, a Practical Study. Welcome, Dr. Mohseni.
Thank you very much for this time. This project is a project that detection, the leak, and evaluations the underground networks that in service for customers and for my company. Before I present the article, I introduce my company, a brief of the project. Isfahan Gas Province Company is one subsidiaries of the National Iranian Gas Company. National Iranian Gas Company has 44 sub-companies that the Isfahan Gas Company responsible for delivering gas to cities, village, industries, same as power plants, refinery, and steel factory, and commercial centers.
Well, Dr. Mohseni, would you describe for us your gas distribution system?
My company distributes over 21 billion cubic meter per year, and about 99% of population in my province use natural gas. Finally, mentioned by our 2,500 stations, same as Citygate station, TBS station, and MS station, transfer and distributed gases by 2,600 kilometers underground pipelines, which over 40% of this network are RP pipes that especially needed for this project survey. The new efforts of my company, for methane emissions, in fact, the natural gas company gathered over 50 years, the associated gases were filtered, gathered, and transferred for exports and consumption by NIGC. Additional some strategy for reduce emission methanes, same as supply continuous gas for power plants, refinery, steel factory, compressed natural gas station, and so on.
As I mentioned earlier, integrity management and safety is a priority for all gas companies worldwide, and the responsibility for these activities are in the operations group. Would you describe for us your technical group and their focus?
In the technical sector, my company implemented DI&M model, that means direct inspection and maintenance, LEO by LDAR, leak detection and repair. You know, leakage from buried pipes, from gas station, equipment, valves, and so on is non-avoidable. Then we need new approach which able to leak detection, leak location, leak measurement, leak repair, and leak recheck. In this model means DI&M or direct inspection and maintenance. My company above leak survey by 50 twin groups for all under and above ground pipes, equipment, valves, and stations. The name of this group that I refer to is Leak Hunter, okay? And this model must be able to measure leak by high flow sampler and extract the emission factor for measuring of the gas that's dispersed in the atmosphere. For example, by leak detector, we can detect a leak in ppm, part per million, but we needed measure gas in liters per minute or cubic meter per hour. Using new method for detection of leak, for example, laser method or laser detector, LEO by FID or flame ionized detector. Another achievement of this model, make a priority of gas leakage for repair. And finally, analyzes the type of leakage and send feedback to engineer and operation department that prevention from the repeat this leakage.
It sounds like, well, as natural gas leak detection and control has always been a top priority for every gas company in the world, including in my country. And,
Yes.
Our main driver has always been safety. And
Yes.
now with the increased concern about climate change, efforts to reduce methane emissions is also a priority. And it sounds like in your company, both of those are a very high priority. And both methane emissions and obviously safety always is. Now your technology focuses on the polyethylene pipelines, which is very, very interesting. And I was very fascinated by your statement in your abstract that in the test project you did, you were able to manage, that is, detect and control 100% of the underground gas pipeline leaks in the test segment of the pipe. Would you take a few minutes and just walk us through this process, how you started and how you did this on that 100-kilometer segment of pipe that you mentioned in your paper?
In this paper, we present a new method for evaluation of underground networks that in-service. For example, for other method, you can detect some very small zone for detection, but by this method, the new method, we can detect leakage in a whole zone. For example, the methodology of this project is that some advantages of this model or this article. Well, for example, no shutdown action is required for consumer and users, for example. Another, it is best non-destructive test method for evaluation. High reliability, low cost, fast detection. This method can be used for in-service condition. This can be utilized for a whole big zone of the network with all components such as pipe, coupler, reducer, saddles, and so on. You can reap the benefit of combination of two entity methods. These methods approved by American Society for Non-Destructive Testing that we mix two methods for the evaluation of underground pipes for prevention of leakage. And the best advantage that in-service system, in-service, the consumer and user can use the gases and we can evaluation the underground networks. But this project is have very limitation. For example, the limitation, they need the isolated zone, okay? Need to independent regulated station, same as town board station, need to accurate as-built network, need to announce end user, and need to standby operation and maintenance team for possible emergency response. It may have high risk for domestic gas regulator that we suggested some for this prevention, okay? And the results of this model or this project, we can detect and control of 99% of underground pipeline leak with step-by-step increasing of the maximum working pressure. Evaluate the operational performance of the safety devices, gas regulator, and meter stop valve during a gradual increase in gas pressure level. Okay, In this project, that's a new method used for 100 kilometers of the underground pipelines that survey and evaluations and high confidently for the operation and user.
You mentioned two very key things about this type of testing is that one, there's no shutdown involved and it's non-destructive. That are huge benefits to this testing. I'm just wondering, you worked on this within your company. Is this technology or a leak detection system being used anywhere else in Iran with other gas companies, or is it still just being used with your company?
The history of this method referred to 3 years ago that 2 persons died because the leakage to the house by the traffic bar or external force and bad welding in installation type. Okay, and the semi-accident received to us for this zone. We have 2 scenarios for controlling and high reliability for operation of this zone. 2 scenarios. The first scenario was replacement totally of the underground pipes, and this very high cost for company and the customers. And another and second scenario that my company retested the underground pipeline in service. And me and my team work innovate this method. This method only used 2 times in my company and needed for approve some departments, same as technical inspection department or engineering department, but can be adopted to Iranian gas industry. And finally, we need to the approved by inspection department. Fortunately, the teamwork that co-worker me from the other departments, same as HSC departments that evaluated the risk and change management and safety factor, operation departments represented for increase the step-by-step pressure, inspection department for finally approve, and leak survey department for survey the leakage. And I'm leader of this team. This method, I think, for first time present in my company, my country, and in the world.
Okay, that's very fascinating. You know, looking at your paper and the beginning of it, you have quite a team of people working on this and on the abstract. And I think I'd love to hear, and the audience would like to hear a little bit more about yourself and,
yes,
and talk to us about some of the people on your team who are working on this technology.
Yes, our person, Mr. Akbari, I told Mr. Akbari in HSC departments that evaluate the risk and change management and safety factor, they calculate the safety factor. From the maintenance, represent from maintenance department, Ms. Izadi, that work about the repair of the leakage, and Ms. Rasuli from inspection department that finally approve this project and very expertise in this zone. And another Mr. Abbasian, that the head of group of leak survey.
How many years have you been working in the gas industry?
My experience about over 26 years in oil and gas industry. And I'm forgot level 3 NET method from ASNT, American Society for Non-Destructive Testing, about 15 years ago, that renew every 5 years.
That's fascinating. You heard my perspective as somebody who reads these papers, why the call to papers is so valuable and interesting to the readers. And I'd just like to hear your perspective as an author on what you think the value is of submitting a paper and participating in the World Gas Conference call for papers is.
And my idea and opinion is that knowledge is power, especially when shared with others. And we can make a safer world by this idea and share it.
Well, I wish you great luck with your paper, and I hope to see you at the World Gas Conference. And I'd very much like to thank you for taking the time to talk to us
Thank you.
today.
Thank you, and me too. And I wish see you in the Daegu.